everyone, welcome back to a new video. So it is 2022, as we are all aware, and today I'm going to be doing my 2022 goals video. So I have 4 goals for this year, as well as 4 kind of milestones, I guess we're going to call them. They aren't exactly goals per se, you know, it's not something I'm going to be working towards every single day, but they're just things that are going to happen that are big and I felt that were worth mentioning. But we'll get to those later. We're going to start with the goals, so let's just get straight into it. So my first goal is to read every single day. I've always been a reader. My mum was, and she raised me to read a lot. I used to read under the covers, but I read every day during kind of secondary school years because, well, I was very unhappy and therefore reading was very much a form of escape for me. Whereas these days I just don't really feel the need to escape anymore, which is great, but it does mean that this year, well, last year now, last year, so in 2021 especially, I kind of fell off with the reading. I just, you know, mainly because I'm just busy these days, you know, I had a lot going on last year, but I really want to get back to reading because although I don't need to escape from my life anymore, it's still something I love. I mean, like, I have so many books, I have like over 600 books, so, you know, clearly I love reading and I really just want to get back to it. And reading every day, having that routine was something that really worked for me back in secondary school, so I'm going to try and implement it again and see if it works. My kind of parameters for reading every day has always been, you know, not that I have to read like a chapter every day or anything, just that I literally, as long as I open a book and I read one sentence, then that counts as reading every day. And I think when I used to do this, I think there was only one time that I actually only just opened the book and read one sentence. You know, even then, you know, even on the days that I didn't really feel like reading, I would open the book, read a sentence, and then be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna carry on. And that worked very well because a lot of the time it was just that I struggled to start. I struggled to pick up the book and start the activity, so therefore forcing myself to just pick it up and read one sentence therefore allowed me to read. And that worked really well for me back in secondary school. So I'm hoping that will continue. And I mean, I'm filming this on the 6th of January. And so far I have read every day in January. So, I mean, we're only 6 days in, so it's not that much of an achievement, but considering how little I read last year, that's still pretty good. So yeah, I'm hoping to read every day in 2022. And yeah, if you want to see how that goes, then just keep up with the vlogs, really. My second goal is to do 1 photo shoot every week. If you've been keeping up with the vlogs ever since I kind of moved into this house, you'll know that I tried to start a 365 challenge, which is where you do a photo shoot every single day for 365 days. But it just didn't work because, well, I'm disabled and it was just too much. I could not keep up with it mentally or physically. I was exhausted and I just couldn't do it. I kept it up for almost a month, but I just couldn't do it in the end. So I've decided instead that I'm going to try a 52 challenge. So 1 per week, 52 weeks in a year, of course. And hopefully by doing that, I'll be able to kind of, you know, because the point of the 365 challenge was to just take photos regularly. You know, I'm a photographer, I love photography, and therefore I wanted to make sure I was implementing it into my regular life. But every day was just too much. So I'm hoping by doing it once a week, it will keep me kind of, you know, on my toes with, you know, I've always kind of got to be thinking about a photo shoot, planning it, but you know, I also have some space to breathe. I have quite high hopes for this 52 challenge, doing a photo shoot every week kind of thing, because I think it's a lot more sustainable than the 365 challenge. It will still work when I start university later in the year, and I think it's going to work, and it'll just mean that I can, you know, continue doing photography, which is something I love, on a regular basis, and, you know, just kind of keep myself accountable for that by giving myself a set schedule. My third goal is complicated. I don't really know what to call this one, but it's health related, so allow me to explain. Basically, I'm disabled, as I mentioned earlier, and if you've been around here a while, then you'll know very well that I am disabled. I'm autistic, but I also have a whole lot of physical issues which come from various different things, including chronic fatigue and HEDS. But basically, because of that, my body is just weak. You know, I always have been very weak, especially kind of when I started puberty. That's when things went downhill, and I just wasn't able to work on that while I was at school because I was too depressed, to be honest, and far too wrapped up in other things. However, now that I'm out of school, part of the reason I was taking this gap year in between college and university was to work on my health, both mental and physical. And something I'm gonna really start doing in 2022 is really start to work on my physical health. I've been doing a whole lot of things in the background that I haven't really talked about because it's early days and I don't really know what I'm doing yet. But for example, I went to a podiatrist to get insoles in my shoes because my right foot is actually wonky, which is then causing a lot of pain and everything, so I can't walk very far. And obviously then if I can walk further, then I can get out for walks more, and it's just like little things like that. And I've been seeing a chiropractor for my back, and I've also got a therapist for my mental health as well. But and so it's all these little things in the background that I've been sorting out, and at this point I've managed to get to quite a good place. And so now that I kind of didn't intend for it to be like a New Year's resolution kind of thing, because it's just something I've been working on. It's just that, by the time I managed to get the insoles in my shoes and, regular chiropractor and stuff sorted out, it happened to fall around New Year's. So we're putting it as a New Year's resolution, but really it's something I've been working on anyway. But I want to, just improve my physical health so that I can improve my life. Now that I have my insoles and I'm comfortable with them, I'm trying to go for regular walks, which will both help my physical and mental health. It'll help me build my stamina. And I'm also trying to build up muscles, especially in my problem areas, because then that will help me. It'll reduce my pain. It'll help, like my posture and things as well. And it'll just improve my life in general. So yeah, I really don't know what to call this goal, because I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not even really trying to build muscle. I'm just, trying to implement some sort of regular exercise and, build certain muscles, I guess, but for physiotherapy reasons. So I'm not really sure what I'm calling this goal, but basically I'm just trying to, improve and be conscious of my health overall so that I can work towards a better quality of life. And I mean, there's only so much I can do, because at the end of the day, I'm still disabled. I will always be disabled, and there's nothing I can do about that. But there are still steps that I can take in order to lessen some of the symptoms. So my fourth and final goal for 2022 is to implement some sort of weekly checkup, both on, my goals, my health, just, kind of what I'm doing. This is something I've kind of tried to implement in years past, but it never really worked out, mostly because, I was still in school, and so therefore I had very little control over my life, so there wasn't much I could do in the way of goals. Because I'm autistic, I very much like to work on a schedule. However, in recent years, I've kind of let that go, because I found that if I don't have a schedule, I am therefore less likely to panic and have a meltdown if someone changes my plan. And so I therefore just kind of woke up and did whatever took my fancy this day. But really it doesn't work that well for me, because I'm a schedule-oriented person. I like plans. I don't like change. And so now that I'm in a better place and I have more control over my life, I'm trying to implement a regular routine that, is still a routine, but isn't so strict that it's going to cause a meltdown when someone changes here. And I'm not really sure how to go about that, but I'm going to start by having these weekly checkups so that I think I'm going to do them on a Sunday. This may change week to week depending on, if I'm doing something on a Sunday, then obviously it'll change. But Sundays are the days that I edit the vlogs, and so I'm not vlogging anyway. So I can then just have the day to kind of, sit down and, think about, okay, how have I been eating this week? Because I tend to eat obsessively. And so therefore some weeks I eat really well and some weeks I eat terribly, just because I'm an obsessive eater. How have I done with like movement? If there have been any particular problem areas I need to bring up in my next doctor's appointment. you know, how am I doing on my goals, so I can check back at these goals lists and see how I'm doing on those, so I'm, you know, keeping myself accountable. Eventually later in the year I can also see how I'm doing at uni. I can also keep track of my money on those days and, you know, kind of put money into savings and things like that. Basically, I just want weekly checkups so that I can sit down and just evaluate where I've been this week, what I've done, how things are going, and so therefore I know what I need to do in the next week. Which I think it will help me keep me accountable for one thing, but it will also be a good step towards trying to have some structure but not be so rigid that I can't change anything. So that, you know, when I go to uni later in the year, everything doesn't come tumbling down. So those are my 4 goals, but now we're going to move on to the milestones section of the video. So these 4 things are not necessarily goals. I mean, they are things that are, I mean, they're going to be happening, but, you know, there's 1 or 2 that are kind of, they're mostly going to be happening, but theoretically it might not happen for one reason or another. But they're, you know, they're milestones that are going to be happening this year, hopefully. Everything, you know, if everything goes according to plan. And I thought they were worth mentioning because although it's not necessarily a goal, but it is something that I'm kind of consciously working towards all year, so I thought they were worth mentioning. The first one is that I'm going to be moving again this year. Obviously, I moved out last year for the first time. I'm living on my own for the first time, which has worked out great. But I'm going to be moving because I'm going to be starting uni later this year, and therefore I'm going to be moving to where I'm going to be attending uni. I'm moving to Norwich. I've been accepted at NUA, Norwich University of the Arts. And so therefore obviously I need to be over there in order to attend said university. So I will be moving. My lease here ends in May, so I'll be moving around April, May-ish. We're not sure exactly when yet, but moving is something that's going to be happening, which is very exciting. Obviously we don't know exactly what's happening yet. We are just about starting to look for houses and stuff now. But it's a long process, a stressful process, as I found out last time. Obviously, I've been living on my own for months now, and that's worked out great. This is going to be a little bit scary because I'm now going to be 4 hours away from my parents. I'll be, you know, all alone out there. But I think it'll be fine. You know, I've taken to living on my own very well, never going back. And it'll just be, you know, it'll be a change, but I think it'll be a good change. And then obviously the second thing is that I'm going to start uni, which I've mentioned very many times. Obviously I've been taking a gap year, which is, you know, just to try and get my life in order pretty much. I had a lot of things I needed to sort out and I wanted to try and living on my own first. But yeah, I'm going to be starting uni in September, October. Unis are a bit weird and I'm honestly really excited about it. I'm going to be studying photography, of course. It's a 3-year course and yeah, I honestly can't wait to get started. I love learning. Even though I haven't had the best time in the education system, I really do think uni is going to suit me. I love learning. I love, you know, I mean, there's just a lot more freedom at uni, so I think it'll work out fine. And, you know, I can't wait to meet other people who, you know, are obviously on the same course and love photography just as much as me. I can't wait to work with them. And yeah, I am very excited for uni, which is something that's going to be happening later this year. I think, honestly, by far the most exciting thing that's going to be happening this year is that I will be getting a pet of some kind. Obviously, if you watched last year's goals video or if you watched the wrap-up, you're going to know that I was thinking of getting and training a service dog last year, but it never happened because the landlady of this place, you know, doesn't accept pets, even though they said they would up until the last minute. And also, you know, there were fleas in the carpet, which were, you know, a pet thing. And I keep getting pets at home mail for the previous tenant, but whatever. So the point is that didn't happen. However, because that didn't happen, I don't think I'll be moving to Norwich several months before I start uni, just because of how the lease ends. But I don't think it's enough time, because I'll only then have a couple of months to, you know, find a dog, and then I'll have to train it. And I don't think that's enough time to train a dog as a service dog. And, you know, also just because it's going to be a lot of change, and I just don't think it's plausible, since, you know, if I wanted a service dog, I would have needed to get it while I'm here, so I had the whole year to train it. but I didn't because of the landlady. So because of that, I think I'm gonna go for a cat instead. I've hummed and hawed over this for a long time. You know, I was thinking, okay, maybe I can just get, you know, a dog as a pet rather than a service dog. But I think I'm just gonna go for the cat in the end. It may technically change, but the point is there will definitely be some sort of furry friend adding to this family by kind of June-ish, which I am incredibly excited about. I love animals. Cats, dogs, I love them both equally. I know a lot of people will disagree and say, no, you have to pick a side. I love them both equally, okay? For different reasons, but equally. So yeah, I think I'm going to be getting a cat. I think it will just suit my lifestyle a little bit more. You know, I'm a very chill person. I don't really leave the house that much. And it also means that, you know, I don't have to worry about walking a cat because, you know, obviously if you get a dog, you need to walk it and everything. And I don't know if that might be a bit much for me. So I think a cat will suit me better at this point in my life. But yeah, the point is there's going to be some sort of fairy friend and I'm very excited about that. So yeah, subscribe and keep up with the vlogs if you don't want to miss that, because I wouldn't want to be missing that. The final milestone I'm going to be hitting in 2022 is that after I move to Norwich, I want to get my first tattoo. So obviously you can see I have quite a lot of piercings. I've been waiting to get piercings since I was like 12 when I first got my ears pierced. But you know, I couldn't get any more piercings other than just one in each ear while I was still at school because the school wouldn't allow it, because as we all know, if you have more than one piece of jewellery in your ear, you become a delinquent who cannot learn. And then of course, you know, COVID hit, you know, right after I started college, and so therefore I wasn't able to do it then either. But I finally got some of the piercings I wanted. I'm not done with piercings, but we're getting there. But yeah, I want to get my first tattoo. I was considering getting my first tattoo while I was still here at home, but I think I decided to wait until I moved to Norwich, because Norwich is a very artsy city. I mean, the university is literally part of the city. You know, it's not like a separate campus. The university just owns multiple buildings throughout the city. So, you know, it just like the entire city is kind of the campus, and obviously it's an arts university, so Norwich itself is very artsy. There's a lot of museums, and therefore there's just a lot of really great tattoo shops, and it's just kind of the perfect place to get tattooed. So I found a few potential places that I'm looking at to get tattooed. Obviously I need to do a bit more research, but yes, I am going to be getting my first tattoo. I don't know how many I'll get done kind of originally, because I know exactly which one I want to be my first one. I've already planned out like 10. But I don't know if the first one I'm getting is very small, so I may kind of get several small ones in one go. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, I am going to be getting my first tattoo this year, which is very exciting. And yeah, those are all of my goals and milestones. So as you can see, I have a pretty big year ahead of me. I am incredibly excited for this year. I mean, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to jinx it. Given how badly the last 2 years have been in terms of, you know, just the global situation, you know, I don't want to put any pressure on this year. I'm not going to jinx it, but personally, there's a lot going on in my life this year. A lot of big changes, a lot of new things, and I'm really excited. Really, really excited. This is kind of, you know, I've been waiting for this point in my life for so long, and you know, I'm thoroughly enjoying living on my own, and you know, I can't wait to start the next bit basically. And yeah, I am very, very excited. My goals are, of course, pretty much all of them are actually centered around trying to build some sort of routine, which I didn't really realize until I kind of said them out loud. But yeah, it seems like, you know, I've got lots of milestones going on, and my goals are all centered around building a regular routine, which, yeah, I did not realize that, but it works out pretty well. But yeah, those are all of my goals and milestones. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please tell me your goals down below. If you don't have any, that is absolutely okay. You don't have to have any goals. Honestly, like, if you just survived, that's fine. That's enough. If your only goal is to survive another year, that is also enough. You know, it's been a crazy last couple of years. So yeah, don't worry if you don't have any goals, but if you do, please feel free to share them below. Let me know what you think of my goals. And yeah, let me know if you've got anything exciting coming up in your life this year, because I have a lot of exciting things coming up, and I don't know, I kind of just want to share my excitement with other people. So yeah, let me know your goals and stuff down below. And other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like it if you did, subscribe if you want to see more and see me actually completing all of these goals and milestones. And I will see you in the next video.